People, I think there were over 100,000 people when they marched for a protest. And please keep in mind what the protest was for. Imran Khan had called the protest for one, for the prisoners that are incarcerated in jail. These are political prisoners which have been incarcerated in jail, illegally incarcerated. Secondly, he said, you come for your stolen mandate, which is for democracy. And the third thing was for the rule of law, because we know that there are certain laws enforced in Pakistan which is for the suppression of the Supreme Court. So these are, people had come for their own rights. They were demanding an end to the fascism that we've all been suffering for the past 1.5 years. My brother's in jail, my nephew's in jail. My sister and I were picked up and taken to prison for 3 weeks. So, and there are thousands of other people who had to face really hard, it's been very, very tough. Their relatives are picked up. So if people come to protest for their rights, my niece, my sister and myself were standing right there, very close to where everything was happening. My niece, my sister's granddaughter, who's about 15, 16-year-old, she was with us. There were old people, there were women. Nobody goes with their children. Nobody goes to a protest with their children if they think you're entering an area where you are going to create a riot. It was because we went there for our rights. So while we were there, while we were right there in front where you're talking about the space, they're tall buildings. So about 3:30, a lot of people brought empty shells for us and said, and they pointed out the buildings where the firing was coming from. They said there's sniper rifles on the rooftops. And they said, it was quite shocking, I can tell you that. Now, these are not people who are protesting or breaking anything. I'm telling you, this is where we were standing. There were people sitting on the roadside. They'd been on the road for over 30 hours. So they were resting on the green belts. They were resting on the service lanes. It's a very widespread area. It's a market. So there were just people sitting on the road or standing like we were. So when you start firing, whether it's one bullet or whether it is 2 bullets, just explain why would you fire into a crowd when they are only sitting over there. It is a protest. So the crime now is that you cannot protest or ask for your rights. That is the crime that was committed that day. And you start firing into the crowd, and in the documentary I could see they used the word afternoon. By the afternoon, there were already 12 people dead that we are claiming because they were taken to the hospital. The real operation started late at night. When we left, it was about 10 o'clock at night, 9:30, 10. And by that time, I think about 8:30, it was already pitch dark. So when this military unit moved in, that is when the real massacre occurred. So when you're counting dead bodies, I can tell you, we saw they were firing at people just standing over there. When you start firing from rooftops, you just fire into anybody. Somebody picked up a picture. You haven't seen those pictures where somebody picked up Imran Khan's portrait and he was getting he was having somebody photograph him and they shot him dead. There are accounts where a person is making a selfie and you could see that he is shot in his shoulder. We saw the wounded. I mean, I'm not over rubber bullets. These are like bullet wounds. And that already started at 3:30 in the afternoon. So there's a difference. I will point out, in the afternoon there was sniper rifle, but at night there was a proper operation. And that's when they used the bigger guns. Like these, you can hear them in the videos. There's so much evidence available of how in the pitch dark, you could hear the machine, it's like machine gun fire, whatever they used, whatever automatic weapons they used. The question remains, why were people fired upon? Was it to make them create an atmosphere of fear? Let me point out that these people, when they came out, we were walking down one of the main avenues, which we call Srinagar Highway, we were with them all night. And then, like, we were in a car, but we were moving with the people. There were miles, I'm talking about miles of people walking on foot with a determination, with a jubilation. It was like, I asked some of them, what are you feeling today? They said, we feel we've come out of a very dark time of 1.5 years. And we feel, and they were waving. I can tell you, I have waved. There were policemen standing on roads and waving to us, and we waved back at them. So there was no atmosphere. The military personnel were waving when we saw some of them. So there was it was a deception. I'm telling you, there was no atmosphere where you could feel that you're going into a trap. And I'm telling you, that was a trap. Because otherwise, we would not take our children with us if we thought there was going to be gunfire. Why would we take our children? This was the worst. This was going to be a day Pakistan remembers. We've just come out of Syria situation and we're watching the prisons open up. Is that where they're mistaken if they think that Pakistan is going to head in that same direction? Pakistanis are not going to let that happen. We cannot deal with this sort of fascism after post that date. Post that date, there are people cannot be located. 200 is a conservative number. There are hundreds more that people are still looking for. Because there are thousands in prison. But at the moment, the relatives are trying to locate their loved ones in prison. So they go from, and the games they are playing, it is terrible. Because people go to one police station, or they're looking, there are hundreds of police stations that they're trying to locate their loved ones in. So because they can't locate them in prison, so they don't know whether they're dead or alive.
Yes. So I